Hello everyone, welcome back to another video here on Cluiche with me, Seamus, Brady and Luke Peyton. This video is one of my favourite ones to do. We did it a couple of years ago, Luke. It's been a while since we've done it. We didn't do it for 2023, but we're back doing it for 2024. It is the 10 breakout stars on the men's side for football and hurling. There will obviously be another video for the women's side in camogie and in the lgfa. Keep an eye out for that, but this one is on the Gaelic football and on the hurling side. 10 stars for both codes that we have highlighted as being huge stars to come in the future of the next calendar year. Luke, obviously we did pretty okay last time. Obviously we were talking off air about the lists. Are you confident about these stars, what they have ahead of them in the future now?
Yeah, look, I think so. I think there's a nice mixture between fellas that have probably a lot of following about them, and then a few fellas that maybe might be a few bolters. So yeah, now look, we naturally we'll get, like, I think the last time when we did it, we might have got half of them might have been regular championship starters, and then the other half maybe didn't pan out. So I'd say maybe a bit of similar, and I'll take that.
Yeah, no, anything similar is okay. The hurling, we selected Kieran Joyce from Cork as our first pick. That was in 2022. That was stars to break out in 2022. Our biggest football star that we picked was Stefan Akumba. So he did okay. Didn't do quite, I think, what we thought he would. But Stephen Sherlock was our number two. He had a pretty good year for Cork. So I'm pretty confident in the picks that we've gone for this time. We're going to start with Gaelic football. We're going to start with the 10 breakout Gaelic football stars to watch in 2024. And the first one that we are going to go to, before I get into this, I'm going to explain the criteria for this list. When we're talking about them, we're talking about the impact that they are going to have on the championship. We're going to talk about that these players could make the difference in their counties, respective counties, having a big year in 2024. So with that in mind, let's jump into the first pick of our top 10 list. His name is David Buckley. He's from County Cork, and he is one of the forwards. He was deadly accurate, and he actually did get put into Cork's team at the start of the Allianz League last year for their opening couple of fixtures, but he sustained a pretty bad injury, and that completely hampered him for the year previous. But he is a sharpshooter, and if Cork can get him back to full fitness, they have another deadly weapon up front.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, I think, look, he has a record as well with UCC. Has won underage competitions with Cork the whole way up as well. Part of those exciting Cork teams like that have been involved in All Ireland, everything like that too. So yeah, no, look, I think it's a good shout. He's been involved in the setup for a good while. Like the fact that he's already had the year, I know he was injured, but it's a year of conditioning as well to get stronger. And on top of that too, so yeah, no, look, I think it's a good shout. And look, he's well able to score. He's shown us, he's already shown us, I suppose, at league level too. So yeah, no, I think that's a pretty good safe pick.
Yeah, no, I'll be happy to go with him. And when you're talking about impact for Cork, like Stephen Sherlock, Brian Hurley, they have been the scorers in chief for them over the last few years. Where do you think Buckley can fit into that forward line?
Yeah, look, it is a stacked kind of position for Cork, like as well. You look at Chris Jones as well last year, kind of cemented that spot in there as well. Maybe Buckley might be looking at targeting there. There's some really good forwards though with Colomani, players like that as well. Like they do have good forwards in there too. But look, it is look, you know, Hurley is getting on a little bit too. He's still, like, last year was some of his best football he's played too. But it's the side that's getting younger, and I think look, between him, yeah, Cronin as well in there too is another good shout for in the full forward line too. There's definitely gonna be places up for grabs in there as well, and I think Dave Buckley's a good shout for someone who might fill that role.
Yeah, no, he definitely is. And look, another name that I think deserves a shout. He hasn't exactly hit the heights I thought he was going to, but Blake Murphy for me was a guy who had unbelievable potential. Hopefully, he can hit those heights for Cork. He was centre forward for the All Ireland under 20 winning side. Connor Corbett is another one, but he got some good minutes into him last year in the championship. Obviously, scored a good few scores, and then was hilariously quoted by John Kenny as scoring a goal for Louth against Cork, apparently. So his name did the circuits a bit, but definitely Connor Corbett is another shout there. So is Blake Murphy, but we've gone with David Buckley as a name to look out for in 2024. Now, number 9 is from the Kingdom. It's a forward from County Kerry, and when you look at last year, David Clifford, when he wasn't firing to his best ability in the All-Ireland final, the threats did somewhat dry up. So Kerry need more forwards. And we have to give a big shout out to Dara Roach, Donald O'Sullivan, and Rory Murphy. They're all very credible candidates for the year in 2024. But we have decided to go with one of the Gainey boys, and it's Dylan Gainey from Dingle in County Kerry. He's a forward. He was shooting the lights out in the club championship. This guy has a serious talent.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, he's just finished a run there with Dingle now after losing kind of to Castlehaven. That, but he had a good club campaign. And look, Jack O'Connor's after getting him straight into the Kerry panel. He started games already now in the preseason competitions for Kerry. He scored in them too. So, look, I think he summed up pretty well. That obviously like Paul Gainey as well getting on a little bit now too as well. That there is going to be spots in that full forward line that I think it is the area that they probably need to strengthen a tiny bit. Kerry, they need a bit more competition in there too. And look, he looks to be the player that Jack O'Connor's picked out to. And look, I think seriously expect him to get a fair bit of league time when it comes later on the championship. It's always hard for these players to break into the teams that are expected to win All Irelands. So it is a bit of a projection for us, but I think he's the best placed out of any young Kerry forwards to get the spot in there.
Yeah, no, he's definitely a good shout. And like as I said, big shout out to Dara Roach, Donald O'Sullivan, Rory Murphy, Killian Burke. They're all good, credible candidates for the year of 2024. But I just would probably shade it to Dylan Gainey. But I wouldn't be surprised if any of them got in, because Kerry do need more competition for that third spot in the full forward line. Because like last year, Gainey seemed to get it even when he wasn't playing his best football. So they need a bit of competition on him. Dara Roach, for me, was someone that I really liked in the league. Be very interested to see who does get those positions in the league and how they perform. And moving from the Kingdom of Kerry down in the south up to the Red Hand of Tyrone up in the north. So, look, Tyrone's a county which has been hit hard in the off-season. You're talking about like Mickey Hart going to Derry. You're talking about the retirements of Ronan McNamee and now most recently Niall Sludden. Lots of rumours will Maddie Donnelly go as well. So it's not been a very pleasant off-season for Tyrone. But the good news is they have a lot of talent coming through. And in defence, we've highlighted two players that we think can make a huge impact in Tyrone in 2024. The first one is Sean O'Donnell from Trillick. Massively impressive throughout the club championship. Scored a great goal as well. I think it was against Cross McGlen that he got that goal. Like, he was really phenomenal at right halfback, did play in the championship last year against Galway and against Kerry. So, like, he probably will feature even more next year. But we've decided to give the position to Niall Devlin. So he's a defender as well, usually kind of picks up the cornerback position, but he flies forward a lot as the modern defender does. And he's really, really caught your eye as well.
Yeah, no, look, he kind of screams to be that prototype Tyrone cornerback as well, wing back that is able to go up and kick scores. Like, you look, like, we all know what Tyrone have done in underage the last couple of years. Obviously, winning the All Ireland as well last year, and then the year before that, like, he's been on underage teams of the year as well, and immediately look in the preseason as well, selected a cornerback the other night as well. So he's clearly a player that they seriously have plans for up there as well. And like Sean O'Donnell thinks it's kind of safe enough bet that he's going to be involved. So I think like Niall Devlin's a good little bolter to say that he could be a player that's involved there straight away. It's clear that they want to get him involved immediately in with the panel. And look, I think with his underage record and his ability to not only be a good defender but to contribute going forward as well, I think he slots in pretty nicely into what Tyrone want to do.
Yeah, especially when you consider the retirements of McNamee and Sludden and everything like that. Like, how do you see the Tyrone defence kind of going next year? Do you think they'll drop Conor Quinn maybe back into the fullback position? Do you think Hampsey will go there and they'll put Devlin in the corner? If you like, what do you think they'll do, especially about the retirement of Sludden on top of that?
Yeah, no, look, that's the thing. They obviously they've plenty of options, and I think I still think it's a good it's a good unit as well there as well. It comes down to like that maybe Tyrone haven't performed to what they're capable of recently as well. I still think that team can perform better, but like I think you could see somebody like corner. You could have Hampsey fullback and then Michael McKern in the corner. You have Quinn in there around there as well. So like they have plenty of options, and I think there is going to be a cornerback slot up for grabs though. So it'll be interesting to watch this space.
Yeah, no, 100%. Okay, so we're going to move then from Tyrone over to the west to Sligo. And look, Sligo's under 20s, like their journey to the All-Ireland final, that caught the attention of the country. And look, we have to give a massive, massive shout out to Luke Marin. He was probably their best forward throughout the entire championship. He looks like he will slot in to the Sligo full forward line for the Allianz League next year. Him in one corner, Niall Murphy in the other. I wouldn't be surprised to see it at all. But we've decided to just nudge towards Canis Mulligan. So his position is midfield, or pretty much anywhere around the midfield. He's played half back, half forward, usually picks up somewhere around the middle anyway. And of course, I'm a big fan of his speech. Sligo's a big dog now, everything like that. I was a big fan of that speech. That one, obviously, quote of the year on Gaelic Stats on Matthew Hurley. Big shout out to him. That one quote of the year on his end of year awards. But he's a fabulous footballer. And for Sligo, he could be a man to make a huge difference to that team.
Yeah, this guy's a bit of a superstar. He's just so good. Like, you look at the last 2 years that this Sligo side, obviously, look, they've had for the county, they've had a generational team the last 2 years that has really, it's got to All-Ireland semi-final stages and beyond 2 years in a row, which for Sligo is kind of unprecedented in recent years. And look, Canis Mulligan has probably been the poster boy of that team. He's the player that both years was their best player for the 2 years as well. Even when he was the younger player, he was the inspirational captain last year, and even the year before that, 2 years in a row, making the team of the year under 20s. And look, that was the thing, picked up the injury and then missed out in the final last year as well. And look, it just showed the loss that he was as well for Sligo, that he's just, he was absolute, like, he was the centre figure of that team, and he's one of these players that, like, I'd be stunned if he doesn't make it into senior level. And I think look the senior management must be absolutely licking their lips looking at him as well. So I think, look, it's not a guarantee from coming straight out of under 20s as well. A lot of expectation, a lot of pressure, like very much a high profile, but like I think they're going to give him every opportunity to try and build a team around himself anyway going forward. So I think, look, it's a bit of a bold for that one, but I just think he's just too good not to include.
Yeah, no, I'd absolutely agree. Look, he included in the under 20 team of the year, back-to-back years. You can't ignore pedigree like that, and Mulligan is a hell of a footballer. Luke Marin as well. Like, the two of them could be, the spearheads of this new Sligo generation into the senior team. And I'm interested to see how Tony Mack will, add them up with a Niall Murphy, with the likes of Pat Spillane. Like, it's going to Sean Carabine as well. It's going to be really, really interesting to see how he gels them all together. Now, this next one is a bit coming from left field. This isn't someone who's burst onto the scene in the past few years, but someone that we've known about for a couple of years, that he would be a huge addition to his county if he ever did return from Australia. Well, he has returned from Australia, and that is Cian McBride. He usually plays around the midfield, anywhere, half back, midfield, half forward. Anything is fine with this fella. He is just an absolute athlete, but he's also a pretty good Gaelic footballer. And for Colm O'Rourke, when you look at the impact that players like Conor Glass have had in Derry, when you look at the impact like the likes of Conor McKenna had with Tyrone, good omens there for Cian McBride.
Yeah, look, and again, like we're saying, it's another bit of a risky one again here for as well. It's always very hard to know when a fella comes back in from AFL, like how he's going to get on and stuff as well. Obviously, we know straight away, physically, he's going to be at a level that's just going to be, he's going to be at a freakish level physically, and he's going to have that. He'll come back as a professional athlete, and look, and that the value of that is absolutely huge straight away. Like you said, he'll play in around the middle. I know Colm O'Rourke's got him involved straight away as well. He's very, very keen to have him involved. And look, we'll have to see how it actually pans out for Cian McBride, but like the potential is absolutely through the roof. So very, very hard to project whether he'll be featuring, how much he'll be featuring for Meath anyway as well. But like, just based on sheer potential, I think it's a good shout to conclude him this high.
Yeah, I definitely think he could be massive. Or he could do, for example, what Conor Hanley did with Mayo, come in, play one game and go back over to Australia. Like, it could be a one and done, but I think it's worth putting him in there. I think he has the potential to be a big player for me going forward. And look, I don't think that Meath winning the Tailteann Cup and then one of the best players coming back from Australia, like that's perfect timing. It's kind of similar with Derry starting to turn the ship around and then Conor Glass landing back. You wonder, has O'Rourke gone to him with these plans, what they want to do over the next few years, what they want to achieve over the next few years? And they have got a crop of genuinely brilliant players. And Dublin's best players, like your James McCarthy's, Michael Fitzsimons, Dublin had to go back to the old brigade to win the All-Ireland last year. So maybe Dublin are starting to look like maybe in 5 years' time, Meath might be eyeing up, finally taking them down. And with O'Rourke at the helm, with Keane McBride back, they'll be pretty confident about doing that in the next few years. Now, moving on, another Leinster county. We included Jack Bryant pretty much right up at the top in 2022. We put him as our number 4 player to watch in 2022. We've gone for the other main man from that Offaly team in here at number 5. It's going to be his first year playing senior football for Offaly, Cormac Egan. A forward, really energetic forward. The way this fella can move the ball from one end to the other, it's almost like a Michael Donnellan. It's like a throwback to Michael Donnellan, the way he's able to run so fast with the ball from one end of the field to the other. Very skillful footballer, very clever footballer. And himself and Jack Bryant over the next few years have the potential to be Offaly's main men up front.
Yeah, look, I think so. And like we were talking about Sligo earlier about the need to get make use of that underage team. And look, so far, to be honest, look, Offaly haven't really managed to get too much joy out of that 20 side. They've managed to produce some of the players that maybe were some of the lesser lights on the All-Ireland winning side. But like Cormac Egan was probably the superstar of that team. Yeah, Jack Bryant kicked a lot of scores, but Cormac Egan was the one with the X factor. And like last year, again, made it to the under 20 All-Ireland hurling final, played centre forward in that team too. That was nearly just a kind of, I think he told them that it was nearly on a loan basis, that his passion was always with the football. So look, his potential's through the roof. It is absolutely through the roof. Like, I know he started against Dublin in the O'Byrne Cup there the other day. Didn't have as much of an impact he wanted, but very heavy pitch in very tough conditions. That's not going to suit him as well. When the pitches dry out into the summer, when we get into championship action, that's when he'll be at his best. So yeah, look, again, it's a projection because I know that Offaly have been quite cautious with their young talent that they played, the tried and trusted big names over them so far anyway. So it's a bit of a risk putting them in here as well because we don't know if he'll start. But like, again, based on potential, like I think it's clear that they do want to get him involved, and look, we know what he's capable of. So yeah, I think I like having him in this position.
Yeah, no, I'm happy with him there as well. I think in terms of potential, he has the potential to be one of the best players in the country over the next 5 years. I don't say that lightly. When you look at the speed that he possesses, the skill that he possesses, and for a guy who's such an athlete, he isn't dumb. He uses the ball well, and he's full of skill, tricks, and the whole lot. He's a worthy shout there, number 5. Now, when it comes to pedigree, our number 4 second name has a lot to live up to. Cian McConville from Armagh, of course. Oisin McConville, the comparisons will always be there, but Cian, in his own right, is an exceptional footballer. Crossmaglen Rangers obviously won the Armagh Championship this year. Cian was one of their standout forwards alongside Reno O'Neill, alongside Jamie Clark. He more than held his own. Do you think it's time that maybe he holds his own in the Armagh team? Could we see that in 2024?
Yeah, I think so. Like, I think it's kind of surprising that he hasn't got the run already for Armagh. Like, I think he's more probably the most well-known name we've come up on the list with so far, probably. And a lot of people know what he's capable of, that his name's been out there, obviously with Crossmaglen even more so as well. I think, look, he just hasn't been fully given the opportunity with Armagh yet, and I think it's probably a good chance that that this is the season that where he's given at least a National League anyway to prove himself as well. And look, given if he plays to his potential, I really don't see why not he can't try and nail down a place in that starting Armagh forward line.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Oisin O'Neill is another one that Armagh haven't necessarily got the best out of over the last few years, with someone who has a huge ceiling, in my opinion. On top of that, look, if they could wave a magic wand and get Jamie Clark back, and then if you add Cian McConville in, that's just one hell of a forward line that Armagh could, in a perfect world, have going into 2024. But Cian McConville, watching his development will be fascinating in 2024. And the next one is a little bit of an odd pick. It's Tom O'Culhan from County Galway. Now, to explain this one, Culhane was top of the list for pretty much everybody of a player to look out for a couple of years ago. The reason he's in is we don't feel that he's had that breakout season yet. He hasn't been a consistent starter for Galway. They haven't really given him a full crack of the whip since he got out of the under-20 side. Could we see that in 2024? Because I think if this guy can hit the level that he has in his locker, I think he could be a massive ace in the pack for Galway and could actually be a difference in them winning the All-Ireland. I don't say that lightly, because when you look at the final in 2022, Shane Walsh didn't really have any help on the day from anyone around him. Culhane could be that guy to help him.
Yeah, no, look, I think so. I think it's a bit of a make or break season nearly already, which sounds mad considering how young he is, but he hasn't, like, he's been in the panel ever since he won that 120 title, and look, he just hasn't had that breakout. I know he did quite well and that's the Sigerson Cup level in recent years as well, which is usually a good barometer for players that make it through to inter-county. But yeah, look, I think he needs a big season as well. And that, look, I think you're right in the sense that, like, they are heavily reliant on Shane Walsh, Damien Comer as well. And I think, look, obviously Shane Walsh, he's out of the All-Ireland now, but he's going to be given a fair bit of time off, I'd imagine anyway, by management to make sure he gets right. So, like, there's going to be places in that full forward line too. Damien Comer, like I said, he's getting older as well. Like, I absolutely think he's going to get game time. And beside the two of them, there should be a spot in the corner forward spot that potentially is up for grabs. I know Finnerty's a good player, but I do think there probably is a spot in the corner that is potentially available. So, yeah, look, I think it's definitely a riskier pick, that there's no guarantee that he's going to make it. I think he's an unknown quantity that it's very hard to know how he'll get on at championship level. But, like, yeah, no, I think, again, like, when it comes to him as an underage player, I don't think there's many players currently playing that have had a better underage career than him.
Yeah, no, I do agree. Like, he pretty much won that under-20 final on his own against Dublin in late 2020. I thought late 2021 or something. Like, Dublin, he scored, I think it was 10 out of the 12 points that Galway got. Like, it was just an absolutely incredible performance by Culhane on that day. Now, from a guy who is a bit of a risky pick because you don't know if he's going to get a fair crack of the whip in 2024, to someone who I think is a slam dunk. Maybe not for this year, but if the Dublin management team don't, try him in 2024, I'd have serious questions as to what Dessie Farrell's thinking. Theo Clancy from Dublin. And when you look at the players that are leaving, Michael Fitzsimons surely doesn't have more than 2 years left. Other defenders that have left over the last couple of years, like Johnny Cooper. Theo Clancy looks like he was made to play fullback for Dublin. He's tall, he's strong, he's fast. He uses the ball very well. He was outstanding for Kilmacud, not just this year, but last year too. I think, for me personally, he has to be brought into the panel in 2024.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think it's the thing with Theo Clancy, it's a given that he is the Dublin future fullback. Like, the question is whether it's going to be this year or the year after. I think the fact that Davy Byrne has not committed to the panel this year and has said that he's going travelling, it opens up another spot. Yeah, like, Darren Newcombe and Keane Murphy are probably next on the list, but, like, you look at the two of them, they're solid players, but, like, their potential is nowhere near Theo Clancy's. Like, Theo Clancy has done, like, the last 2 years he's been starting for Crokes. He's never had a bad game for them as well. He has the ability to play out the field too. He can go out the centre half back if he needs to as well. I think, and the other thing that, like, for a fella that comes out straight out of under 20s, physically he's actually ready. Like, I think the game that showed that was, like, last year even as well. He's even grown, like, and got strong, a full year stronger as well. Since then was when he played Tommy Walsh and didn't look out of place at all. There had a really, really good game, Tommy Walsh. I think he's an unbelievable prospect, and it's in the position, probably in the line, that Dublin really need players. Like what you said, with it's an elderly line that they're starting to lose players in that position as well. They badly need a fullback. I think just makes so much sense, and, like, it's unknown whether this is the year he is. Like, I think a lot of Dublin fans are banging the table down saying, just play him, get him in the league. Crokes are out now. I'd look, if it was me, and if it was you, and if it was most Dublin fans, they'd want to see him get a full league campaign playing fullback no matter what. Just back him and get him used to it, the position, and get it just get his name out there Whether Desi actually does that is another question. But like for sure, he's the future Dublin fullback.
No question. I do agree with you. I think it's when rather than if. Is he going to be the fullback this year, or is he going to be the fullback in 2025? But the one thing is that that's his position, and he'd be a brave man to bet against him getting into that position this year. Now, our number one pick is someone who was the player that everybody was watching coming into last year's championship season, but we have selected him to be our player to watch in 2024 because, look, he had his championship minutes and he has got them under his belt, but we think he could be ready to tear the championship apart in 2024. That is Rory Canavan from Tyrone, obviously brother of Dara, son of Peter the Great, and the talent and the ability that he showed in the under-20 championship in 2022 was frightening. Like, the ability that he showed was out of this world. 2023, he got a good few games under his belt. He did play against Kerry in the All-Ireland quarterfinal. He didn't hit the heights that maybe he can, but you still can't deny it. His ability, his talent is undeniable, and I think he could hit a very, very high level in 2024 for Tyrone if they back him.
Yeah, look, I think for a fellow that came straight out of under 20s playing for a team that probably would have considered himself contenders, I think he did very well last year. I think he was a little bit in and out of the team, but like I think this year is the year that he makes himself the household name, and that I think he'll be an absolute certainty. He will play every single game and he'll be first choice starter in all the games, which will help him too. He'll get a full league as well to get himself right. The club have been out a little bit for Errol Kieran have been out, obviously with Trillick winning it, so he's had more time as well to focus on getting right for Tyrone this year. He's not coming straight in with the club too. I think it's good to include him as like this year is the year where he'll just come straight in anyway as well. He'll have a full year to focus on the county, and I think it's good that we have him on the list as this is the year I think that he will be established and fully break out as a player.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I think he just has undeniable talent, undeniable ability. And I think if he hits form, I think he could tear the championship apart, as I said. Now, before we move on from the football to the hurling, I'm just going to give shout outs to other people that we seriously considered putting on the list, but ended up not doing it. But I still, and I'm sure you still as well, believe these guys could definitely be players to keep your eye on in 2024. They are Kieran Caulfield from Meath, Dara Cashman from Cork, Dara Craig from Roscommon, Jack Robinson and James McGrath, both from Kildare, Joe Keeney from Sligo, Keelan McGann from Longford, Rory Forbes from Derry, and Sean Morahan from Mayo. All of them are very, very credible shouts for stars to look out for in 2024.